Now, what time would your party start, let's say?
Like 9:30.
Really? That early?
Yeah.
I could make that.
Yeah.
But I could think of you of starting a party at like midnight. Like, what time will it go till?
That's a different type of party, though.
Uh-huh.
It'll go from like 9:30 to like maybe 3 o'clock, 3 o'clock. And then, we have the top 2 floors of the hotel.
Mm-hmm. And then it will carry on there?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Then No, I mean the after party.
Mm-hmm. No, I know about them. I'll listen to the music.
Do you think the government was involved in the P. Diddy stuff?
1,000%.
Really?
I think they wanted to blackmail serious Hollywood people, serious music people, serious athletes. I think that Diddy opens up a different world than Epstein opened up. And I think if you want control over people in that world, there's startling similarities between Diddy and Epstein.
When people found out that Ellen was mean and all these people came out and said, Ellen's actually a fucking bitch. She lost everything. She fell apart, disappeared. Because people found out that this character that she was portraying in a half an hour on a television show is not really who she was. But I hadn't already known that because I had a buddy who worked for her. My buddy Greg, who was one of her writers, was like, she's a fucking monster.
Ellen, Oprah, even Ashton Kutcher are moving real nervous right now because the moment the feds started locking up folks connected to Diddy, the whole industry felt that pressure hit hard. And the wild part, people who've been around Diddy for years are saying he already knows the only way he walks free is if he starts talking, and he's ready to do it if that's what keeps him out that cell. Behind the scenes, insiders been whispering that Diddy wasn't just some regular headline-making mogul. He had a whole different role. They're claiming he's been plugged in with federal agents for years as a confidential source, sliding them info whenever it benefited him. And now he's prepared to sing louder than ever if it buys him freedom. His lawyers aren't sugarcoating nothing either. They know his chances are slim unless he cooperates, so they're trying to work a deal fast before everything gets even messier. And Joe Rogan said something that made people stop in their tracks. He said there's no way the feds didn't already know what Diddy was doing behind closed doors because the whisper's been floating around Hollywood forever. Even industry vets were hinting that Diddy's moves didn't add up, like he was dancing too close to something risky. Plus, the moment Homeland Security raided his mansion, that was the biggest sign this wasn't your average legal case. This was deep, official, and heavy. That raid showed the world that whatever they're investigating goes way beyond some regular lawsuit, and people in Hollywood are suddenly realizing Diddy might not be the only one who gets pulled into this storm. Homeland Security stepping into this mess shows how serious the situation really is, because they don't move unless some major names are tied in. Gene Deal, who used to be close to Diddy, even said straight up that Diddy wasn't moving like a regular celeb. He was moving like somebody who had protection from the inside. Gene talked about those quiet meetings and those strange late-night calls he witnessed, and it made sense later. Diddy acted untouchable because he believed the law would never come for him as long as he played his role and kept feeding them what they wanted. According to people in the industry, Diddy was handing over info for years while still doing whatever he wanted, and nobody checked him because he kept those agents satisfied. Some folks in the music world weren't surprised at all. Suge Knight been hinting at this since way back, saying Diddy always kept a friendly relationship with certain people in power.
And, Diddy had the same head of security as Michael Jackson.
What does that mean?
Well,
was Michael Jackson in the government?
No, Michael Jackson has been credibly accused of inappropriate activities.
Oh, right.
And he had a security guard that
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just an interesting connection.
But generally, people that specialize in top-level celebrities like that, they work in the same circles.
Yes, but those are top.
Yeah. But I see that's what's interesting is we didn't know about the Diddy thing until, look, I've been in Hollywood I was there for 25, 26 years or something like that. I didn't know about the Diddy parties.
And insiders claim Diddy never had a problem talking if it meant protecting himself. So if things get worse, they think he'll speak on anything that helps him save his own future. Now his closest friends are getting real quiet and moving different because they know whatever Diddy tells the government might shake up the whole industry. Some folks even believe he already worked out a deal behind closed doors. And if that's true, the details will never be made public. Those kinds of agreements stay sealed forever. TMZ even reported that Diddy was telling other inmates something about a possible pardon, like he had something lined up already. And his lawyer, Mark Gargo, added even more heat in a recent interview when he said Diddy is planning something that's going to shock everybody watching this situation unfold. People are asking one big question right now. What exactly is Diddy planning behind the scenes? And is it really just a coincidence that only a few days after his lawyer hinted at a major surprise, TMZ reported that Diddy and Donald Trump actually talked about a possible pardon? That timing got everybody looking sideways, because if a pardon is even on the table, it means Diddy has to be bringing something heavy in return. When you look at his past and the long list of accusations that built up over the years, it doesn't feel like a simple case at all. Folks are now pointing out that these claims didn't start last month. They stretch back nearly 2 decades. And the wild part? You mean to tell people that in all those years, nobody in any hotel, no staff member, no security guard, no assistant, nobody ever spoke up to the law? That doesn't line up unless information was being passed around quietly and someone powerful kept pushing it under the rug. So now people are wondering, why was Diddy suddenly arrested after almost 20 years of being tangled up in rumors and investigations, especially if he was acting as a confidential source this whole time? And the bigger question, if the feds use Diddy as an informant, how many other big names in Hollywood are playing the same game? Gene Deal didn't hold back when he spoke on it.
You know, one of the questions I had is, how does this go on for 20 some odd years? And the reason I say that, maybe there's a little, I don't want to say resentment, that's not the right word, but in my former life, the FBI was on us 24/7. We were like, I mean, I was indicted 7 times. I was arrested 18 times. I went to trial 5 times. I had 2 federal racketeering cases, 1 state. They were on me constantly. And look, I was a criminal. You know, I was doing what I was doing, but I wasn't doing these kind of parties or anything like that. What I'm saying is, how does this go unnoticed or unbothered, I would say, for 20 years? So my first reaction is, this guy must be an informant. He must be doing something with the government. This is my thought. I have nothing to back that up. Until Suge said to me that Diddy's been an informant for years.
He said Diddy wasn't the only one, not even close. According to him, Diddy just reached the point where he wasn't useful to them anymore. And once that happened, the feds moved in and started collecting whatever final pieces they could get from him before cutting him loose. While all this is unfolding, insiders say the energy inside Hollywood is getting real shaky, because the moment Diddy starts talking, the domino effect could be massive. Folks who used to stand next to him on red carpets, fly out to private events, or do business behind closed doors are suddenly going ghost, staying off social media and canceling appearances without warning. It's like everyone knows something is about to drop, but nobody wants to be the first name tied to whatever Diddy might reveal. And what makes this even more intense is how fast investigators are moving now. Reports say they've been rechecking old flights, old phone logs, even old security footage from places people forgot existed. That means they aren't just looking at Diddy. They're looking at anybody who might have been in the room with him during certain moments, and that's why certain celebrities are panicking behind the scenes. People close to the situation claim that Diddy kept more notes than anyone realized, and he held on to receipts because he always knew a day might come when he'd need them for leverage. Some insiders even said he used to joke about having insurance files, like he never planned on going down alone. And with him facing pressure from all sides, those files could become his biggest weapon. Even lawyers in Hollywood are stressing right now, because if Diddy starts dropping names, this won't just be a scandal. It could expose years of deals, favors, and secrets that were never meant to see daylight. And with the feds pushing harder than ever, everyone connected to him knows one thing. If Diddy decides to talk, nobody is safe from the fallout. While the world waits to see what Diddy might reveal, another rumor has people talking loud. Some insiders believe the feds already know most of the names connected to him, and they're just waiting to see who slips up first. That's why investigators been popping up in places nobody expected, asking quiet questions at old studios, old security companies, and even at private travel agencies. This is the kind of sweep that only happens when they're building a case bigger than one person. And what's wild is how certain celebrities are suddenly trying to distance themselves from anything linked to Diddy. People who used to shout him out, party with him, or brag about being in his circle are now acting like they barely remember him.
No, I
mean,
think you have to get invited to
a
them.
white party, like on like People magazine or something like that.
Well, I think
You know
it's
what I mean?
just one of those things that, like, you're invited to, and you could go and show up there and stay for an hour, and it's all completely innocent. And then there are after parties or certain things.
Well, they would tell people,
Right.
you know, at midnight, you better go the
Yeah.
fuck home, or
It gets wild.
Be prepared to freak off.
And there's targets. I think people, they want leverage on certain people.
Well, certainly if you have artists, right? Like, say if you have an artist, he's the next Tupac.
Right.
And you imagine the amount of money a guy like that can generate. If you have some, like, super talented artist,
Right.
fucking compromise him.
Yeah. Well, that's
Now you
right.
got him.
And now
Now
you
you got
have
him
him, and
forever.
now he's got to kind of do what you want.
Some are even deleting old photos and clips, hoping nobody notices. But the internet catches everything, and fans been reposting old footage nonstop, reminding the world exactly who was standing next to who back in the day. The tension is getting so heavy that even longtime business partners are lawyering up. Entertainment attorneys are saying off the record that this could turn into one of the biggest Hollywood shakeups of the decade. Because if Diddy hands over names, it won't just expose individuals. It could reveal entire networks and systems that have been operating quietly for years. And here's the part that really got folks worried. Sources say the feds found digital evidence that connects multiple locations and multiple people to the same timeline. That means they aren't guessing, they're verifying. And if Diddy decides to add details on top of that, certain people might get exposed overnight. Right now, everybody in Hollywood is watching their phone, watching their past, and watching each other. Because the moment Diddy opens his mouth, somebody's whole image could change forever. Another thing that has people on edge is the talk about old favors Diddy allegedly traded with powerful folks in entertainment, politics, and tech. Insiders say Diddy wasn't just throwing parties, he was building networks, making deals, and keeping track of who owed him what. And now that everything is catching up to him, those same people worry he might use those old connections as bargaining chips if the feds keep the pressure high. Some folks even believe Diddy kept videos, messages, and documents from events he hosted years ago. Not because he needed them, but because he understood how Hollywood works. Leverage keeps you safe. And with the walls closing in, people fear he might decide it's time to pull out whatever insurance he kept locked up, especially if it helps him get a lighter deal. What's making this even more wild is that investigators aren't just focused on Diddy's inner circle. They're reaching out to people who left his team years ago. Former drivers, assistants, security, stylists, even people who only worked one event are getting calls. That tells the streets everything. The feds want the full picture, and they don't care how long ago it happened. Meanwhile, social media detectives are digging through old interviews, old footage, and old comments from celebs who used to hang around Diddy. And every time they find something that looks suspicious, it blows up online, making the situation even harder for Hollywood to ignore. At this point, everyone is realizing this isn't just another celebrity scandal. This is a storm that could hit anyone who stepped into Diddy's world, even if it was years ago. And nobody wants to be the next name trending for the wrong reason. In 2024, right after investigators pulled up to Diddy's Miami mansion, something strange happened. Ellen suddenly announced she was leaving the country for good. The timing shocked fans because her move lined up almost perfectly with the raid, and people online couldn't help but notice how fast she tried to switch up her whole look too. Someone who was blonde her entire career suddenly changed her hair, changed her location, and dipped straight to England to start fresh, and the streets found that way too suspicious. Why would a daytime TV legend disappear from the spotlight just as Diddy's world started falling apart under heavy accusations? And why change her whole image overnight when she's never done that before? People who've been watching this situation say it didn't feel random. It felt like someone trying to get ahead of something before it caught up to them. Diddy and Ellen go back decades, and folks online been repeating the same thing. Ellen was a regular at his events, and people believe she realized the spotlight might swing her way once Diddy started facing real pressure. According to the whispers, anyone who attended those events knew Diddy kept track of everything happening around him. They thought he'd avoid trouble forever. But now that he might be pushed to explain things publicly, they fear they could get caught in the middle. And remember, Jay-Z wasn't the only powerful person in Diddy's circle. For years, Diddy, Jay-Z, and Oprah were seen as a trio of Hollywood power players, always strategizing together, always showing up at the same exclusive gatherings. So when you start peeling back the layers, people online begin questioning whether these friendships were just social or something deeper that we never saw. That's when things got even wilder. because on a recent episode of the Joe Rogan podcast, Elon Musk dropped a comment suggesting Diddy's ties to political figures, especially Kamala Harris, deserved a closer look. And then the internet put two and two together, pointing out how one particular public figure was recently exposed for accepting a large donation linked to Kamala in exchange for political support. Suddenly, Ellen's quick exit, the timing, the image change, and her past connections didn't look like a coincidence anymore. It looked like someone trying to stay far away from whatever storm might be coming next. Yup. Oprah's name getting pulled into this made everything even messier. And just when people thought Diddy might try to play the good behavior card, things took another turn. Less than 2 weeks after he was moved into Fort Dix, officers allegedly caught him drinking something he wasn't supposed to have, and that tiny mistake changed everything. That one slip means he's no longer eligible for the RDAP program, the same program he was counting on to shave time off his sentence. Now the whole situation feels even heavier because without RDAP, Diddy is looking at the long road, not the short one. And if he's stuck in there longer than planned, the pressure on him to talk only gets stronger, which has people in Hollywood watching their backs like never before. So the real question becomes, who's next? Who else is already packing bags, deleting old contacts, or trying to clean up their image before Diddy decides to open his mouth? Because insiders close to the case keep saying the same thing. The list of people worried right now is way longer than the public thinks. And trust, the moment Diddy starts revealing names, some of the biggest faces in entertainment might end up right in the spotlight, whether they like it or not. If you're following this whole situation, make sure you like, subscribe, share, and drop a comment because this story is nowhere near done. And I'll see you on the next one.